Good morning. Good morning. Hello. How are you? Hi, Sue. How are you? Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Saturday. We are streaming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm Teresa with Teresa Rene Art. Hope you guys are doing fantastic and ready for the weekend. Let me know when you come on. Make sure to say hello. If you're watching replay, it helps us if you type in hashtag replay. We are streaming to 4 different places today. We are on the Teresa Rene Art Facebook page. We are on the Royal Court Art Facebook page. We're also on 2 different YouTube channels, Teresa Rene Art and the Royal Court there as well. And I do know, you guys, I did get updated about some of the latest Facebook updates with deleting videos after 30 days. We're not worried about that, you guys, because all of our Pentart 101 series and this series are on YouTube, saved forever and ever out there, because we broadcast simultaneously when we do this. So if you ever want to catch a repeat or replay of something that we've done in the past, YouTube is where you'll find those going forward, saved indefinitely. So hopefully that's some positive news. Saves me a heck of a lot of time in downloading and archiving. So anyway, YouTube, I don't know, Sue, if you want to pop over here and share those YouTube links for my page and also Royal Court so people can subscribe and know how to find those, that would be fantastic. What I've noticed, and it's interesting, is over time, more and more people are actually watching us live on YouTube. So there's a pretty good audience over there this morning. I see Dana's over there, Terry, Sue, etc. So thank you, Sue. Appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a fantastic start to your weekend. So here's what we're doing this weekend. I am as soon as this live is over, I'm actually taking my girls, Emily and Elizabeth, to South Carolina. We are going to go to Columbia, and we are going to go to the Six musical about Henry VIII. I'm so excited to do that with them. We're going to be staying overnight and driving back in the morning. So I'm actually leaving as soon as I hit and stream here. We're going to be leaving to go do that. So I've got a short time frame. So if I feel a little bit rushed this morning, that's why, because we've got a long drive ahead of us. So anyway, let me turn my camera down. And if you're enjoying this series and you know somebody who would also enjoy it, feel free to invite them to come over here and watch this with us. Yes, I'm very excited. Very, very excited. Okay, so we're going to be doing a hat box today. We're going to keep it somewhat simple, but, you know, with a little bit of pizzazz. This is something anybody can do. I love these papers from last year, you guys. So we are anxiously awaiting for our Decoupage Queen spring release. It's going to be here very, very soon. But in the meantime, we have pulled out some beautiful papers from last year that we're going to use. We're going to use this one. This is the Tony Burt. I think this is Augustus Blue is the name of this paper. This is one of the ones that they sent me for my samples, and they didn't print the name on it. So I got I think it's Augustus Blue. And this is called Blue Gingham. And we're going to be using these 2 papers on this white hat box. It's already white, so I don't need to do any base coats or priming or painting or anything. But I have done some prep work for you guys. So you might be in the know that IOD had a new mold release recently, and I'm using their cherry blossom. I guess I don't know what it's called. Let's see, what is it called? If anybody knows what it's called Blossom. It looks like it's just called Blossom. So I'm going to be using their Blossom mold from this latest release. And I've already glued these down. So I'm just kind of creating a little bit of separation on the box with that blossom mold to kind of give it some space. So we're going to be doing this in kind of 2 tones here. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited. So I did this morning. I glued these down this morning. So that is ready to go. But let's go ahead and get started. And it's this mold here. We've got many of our retailers also carry IOD, you guys. So if you're one of those retailers who has that, feel free to share your links. Also, if you're one of our retailers who has these papers in stock, feel free to share your links for those as well. We're going to be using the A4 size of this. If you're not following Tony Burt, so one thing we do at Decoupage Queen that is different from other decoupage companies is we actually use real artists to create our designs. Every single piece of every single design that we make, we pay either licensing for or royalties for, or I create it myself from scratch. We don't use like AI generators or things like that. So these are, when you're buying a Decoupage Queen paper, you are buying a true piece of art that is not created by a machine. It is created by a real person. So if you're not following Tony Burt already, she's the person, this is an actual watercolor that she did, you guys. And I shared this story last year when this was released, but I actually came across her on Facebook and I saw that she was offering a class on how to paint these bunnies. And so the first thing I did, obviously, is like, oh, I'm so curious about this. So I signed up to take her class. Now, I am not a watercolor artist, and so my attempt was absolutely miserable. My goal was to try to learn how to paint like this so that I could incorporate some of this kind of style into our design. But when I started trying, I realized I'm going to just leave watercolors to the experts at watercolor. And I'm going to stick with what I know, which is oil painting. And so I actually reached out to Tony and I said, look, here's what I'm thinking. I love, love, love your bunnies. Will you please license your bunnies to us so that we can use them in our designs? And she graciously accepted. We still have some of these left over from last year. Some of our retailers have them as well. And you guys, if you didn't get this collection, you're really missing out, because again, this is something that somebody painted, and I can't tell you how important that is to me as an artist to support true human living artists. So that's my speech about that for today. But feel free to follow her, and thank you, Sue, for sharing her link. Sue has shared her link out there, and you guys, she gets paid when we buy her designs. We actually pay her. So when you're buying a Decoupage Queen paper, you're not only supporting our brand, but you are supporting the livelihood of real living artists. And I don't think that we stress that enough. And so I just wanted to make a point of that. We're not sitting behind a computer typing prompts and then selling those to you, en masse. We are actually supporting real living human artists. So I think we need to be a little bit more intentional about our ethos regarding that. So that's my goal anyway. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. This is, I just outlined it with a circle, and I am going to, let's see. I am going to find my scissors here, cut this out, and then get that on here. I do. I love, so these, this particular line came in blue, pink, purple, and orange. And I actually think I have the mini here. Did I pull up? Yes, I did. Here's the 4-pack version. of the ones that these all came in, you guys. And these are not retired, so they're all still available. Although we may be close to selling out for this year on our website. But I'm sure many of our retailers have them as well. And then we did coordinating. What we did last year is we did coordinating gingham papers to go with each one of them. So you can find the complement in gingham to each one of these as well. And they're just so beautiful to me. I just love them so much. The purple is like just beautiful. And I actually wanted to do that one, Robin. But the ears were going up, like it didn't quite fit in my circle as well as this one did. So that's why we're doing the blue today, because I wanted something that would fit in my circle. So let's get this on here. So that's what I'm doing, you guys. So I'm mixing a little bit of new with a little bit of old. I really want you to use, if you had these from last year and you didn't get to use them, I really want to inspire you to use them. All right. So let's get this on. And okay. So how many of you guys knew, I don't know if we share this enough, but how many of y'all realize that when we have artists who create papers for us, that we actually pay them in royalties when we order their papers? I don't know if you guys, I mean, I think it should be obvious, but I don't know that we've ever really acknowledged that. So, I think it's important for y'all to know that when you do buy from us, that you're also supporting a real person, not just an owner of a company who's pushing stuff out. So I think that's an important thing, and we just don't say it enough. So I don't know how many. It's like Andy Skinner, for example, when he does a release with us, and Avetta, when she does a release with us, they're benefiting from that. And it's more than just exposure, right? Yeah. So it's very important to know that we try to take good care of our people who do work for us, and even our content creators, you guys. So when we come out with a new product or a new release, our content creators also are compensated to do those projects for us. So we love being able to support artists in our community and then kind of sharing that with y'all. So, all right. So I'm going to put that to the side, let that dry. And what I'm going to do over here is I am going to take this paper, and I'm actually going to just kind of work around. I'm going to do this on the bottom part. I'm not going to decoupage the whole thing. I'm just going to kind of scatter this gingham around the bottom part. And I'm going to use my finger to kind of outline where I need to rip it. It's going to be a little bit tricky, you guys, actually. But before I do that, you know what I need to do? I need to paint. I'm going to paint these brown before I do that, because I'm not going to have if I get my paper on there first, then I risk painting all my paper brown. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint my all these molds, because I want that dimension in there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint this brown. And thank you, Sue, for reminding me about my glasses. So, and I'm not trying to be really careful, because I'm just going to come in behind it and cover it with some white as well. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint this top part brown as well. So you'll see the method to my madness, you guys. It will all become hopefully very clear. So have any of you actually seen that musical, the 6 musical that we're going to see? Just curious what I'm in for, if anybody has seen it or not. Good morning. Good morning. Come on in, you guys. We're going to be playing with the Pentart cracking plaster today, which is one of our new Pentart products that's hitting the shelves, hitting our retailer shelves this week, as a matter of fact. They have all shipped, those who pre-ordered. Okay, so we're going to be playing with that. And maybe we'll throw some other stuff in here too. Okay. So just trying to get this all kind of base coated. So I actually glued this on this morning. The clay is still wet. Ideally, I would have done it last night, but I didn't. So we're just, it's still a little bit wet, but it has kind of started to form a little bit of a crust. So I can work with it now. I glued it on about an hour and a half ago. So this is, again, it's that Blossom mold from IOD, and I used the Jovi air dry clay, you guys, which I love, my Jovi. Love, love, love it. Yes, I'm going to be using the cracking plaster today. And we might I got to look and see what colors of the laser I have. We might throw some of that in there. We'll see. It's going to be fun. This will be fun. So I wanted to do something kind of a little bit of springtime. I wanted to talk to you guys too about, I really wanted to talk to you about the artists that we use. So I figured this paper with Tony Burt would be a really good opportunity to do that. Of course, I mean, it's not to say that I also want to say this, I'm not completely against AI. Okay. So we do have some AI papers. Many of our brand partners also use AI in their designs. And I'm not here to like say that, don't use it or whatever. What I'm trying to say is that when you're using Decoupage Queen, I think that's what sets us apart, right? Is that we have sort of stood by our roots and supporting human artists is important to us. And we haven't let go of that for the sake of convenience. I will tell you, it would be a heck of a lot easier for us to do it differently in the way everybody else is doing it right now. But as a brand, we've just decided that's not who we are. And so, we're going to stick with real art because we kind of think that you guys like that. I don't know. Do you like that? Do you feel like that's important? Do you like having a brand that when you use it, you can feel confident that we're doing, that we're still supporting art? I don't know. Maybe that, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but I am under the impression that our customers do care about that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. Robin says she can't stand AI. Okay. I personally try, I'm not saying that I never use it when I do a decoupage piece. I'm pretty sure that I have, but I generally try not to. Like, it's not my go-to, right? They're more realistic. You can generate your own AI. Yep. Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. And here's the other thing that I don't think people realize about AI. And I kind of giggle when I see somebody put a watermark on an AI image because you guys, AI images are not copyrighted. So like if you create an AI image and you sell it, believe it or not, anybody can come behind you and take that image and create variations of it based on that. Whereas with real artwork, that's not legal. But with AI, it's perfectly legal. And I just kind of giggle when I see people putting their watermark on it because I'm like, really? Like that matters, you know? Yeah, exactly. And here's another thing I want to say too is like we do license artwork from various places. And it is getting to the point, and we kind of feel like that is in line with our ethos too, because we're paying somebody to use a license for an artwork that they created. But in some cases, we try to discern, we try to look at it and say, looks too AI. I don't know. I don't want to use it. But in some cases, we can't really tell. And so if we like it and then, we feel like we're supporting another creator, we sort of rely on the information that we have. So in some cases we can't really tell. So it is possible, even some of the clip art or things that we've picked up, it is possible that they AI, but the difference is that we're still incorporating those into our own designs. So even though one aspect of it might be, and that's kind of how I've gotten myself okay with continuing to do things the way that I've been doing them, because we still add many of our own artistic elements to things, so it's an art form. Thank you, Lynn. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I haven't, here's the thing too, like, I want y'all to know this, okay? Anytime you're putting your pictures or your own things that you've created, anytime that you put those into an AI machine, you're basically giving AI permission to use that image over and over and over again, however it sees fit. So I have not uploaded my picture into AI, into any of these AI programs, because I don't want it to show up on somebody else's decoupage design. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're feeding the machine anytime you upload stuff. You're feeding it. You're telling it who you are. You're giving it information about you. And you're also giving it permission to use it, and others permission to use it however they want. So just be careful, you guys. Just be mindful of that. I'm not saying don't use that stuff, but I'm just saying know that you're not really protected in that space. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and paint the rest of this brown up here. We're going to do the cracking plaster up here. I have to tell y'all, this is kind of sad, and just an aside if you're interested in reading about this, but there was a, so you guys know I'm into oil painting, and I have started thinking about entering some of my artwork into various competitions and things like that. It's scary to think about, but there is one that was really, really well respected, called the Art Renewal Center. And there was a big controversy because one of the winners in a realism category was actually a piece that somebody submitted that was completely, and obviously, in my opinion, AI generated. And so her submission was the AI generated printout. And then when she went to submit like the artwork, it was pretty obvious that she had like glued it down to a canvas and then painted over it like a paint over, right? So, and in the fine art world, it's just, you know, specifically this particular contest, because the rules were pretty clear. You know, there are contests that allow AI entries, but in this one, the rules were pretty clear that it was not allowed. But she submitted it anyway, and she actually won in one of those categories. And of course, you know, all of the other artists who submitted were just beyond outraged. And so there was a whole controversy about it. So this stuff is trickling over, you know, into the fine art world as well. If you're interested in reading that story, go to YouTube. The account is called Jake Don't Draw. And he did like an expose on it, and it's been shared, you know, it's like got 100,000 views or something, probably even more at this point. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. That, you know, it's like I can't get away from it no matter where I go. So it's like, okay, now as an oil painter, I'm still going to be dealing with it. But I guess this is just our new, right? This is our new reality, I think. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dry this. Yeah, Sue, that's right. All right, I'm going to go ahead and dry this. I'm going to get this nice and dry because I'm going to be using the cracking plaster on top. Thank you, Sue, for sharing that. Okay, let me come down here and I'm going to clean up this area here with white. So let me use my, let's see, do I have my white paint anywhere? Let's see, I've got primer. I think that'll be fine. Let me come over here, get my primer out and my little brush. And because I'm going to be decoupaging, you know, this part under here, I just want to get all that brown covered up as much as I can. I wasn't being careful. I'm not going to be able to get it all, but, you know, I want to do as much as I can. Just kind of some of the obvious places. So nobody's seen, I didn't see anybody say that they had seen that musical, or anybody have plans to see the 6 musical. I'm just curious. Have you heard about it? So it's not coming to Atlanta until like mid-April next year, not even this year. So it is playing in a couple other cities. So I was like, okay, well, and it's close, relatively close by. So Columbia. So I figured, you know what, I'll just take a little day trip. My daughter's been dying to see it. It was in Nashville last week. Some of her friends actually went to Nashville. So I was like, okay, well, this will be a fun little road trip for us. We're going to go stay in a hotel, get some dinner before the show. And, you know, I'm all for cultural experiences, so I think it'll be fun. But apparently it's about the 6 wives of Henry VIII. All right. All right. Oh, Robin, you get to see baby Sarah tomorrow. I was at the shop last night, you guys. Our spring release came in last night. We're going to be shipping it to retailers this week. So my daughters and I went and got started. So our retailers should get their shipping notices here pretty soon. All right. Let's see. That looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but we're going to go ahead and dry this a little bit more. I just want some of those main black areas to be covered. All right, let's dry. It's called 6, Lynn. Me too, Mara. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to break this, kind of cut this out into sections. All right. Okay, Mara, see you later. Thanks for stopping in. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get some of this ready to go. I'm going to use my super scientific finger tracing method to get the outline of my molds. Okay, so hopefully y'all can see that. So I'm going to start down here. Actually, you know what? I need to cut. I need a straight line down here. So let me cut this. I need this to be flush against the bottom. So I'm going to cut a straight line as a guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take my finger and just sort of mark the indentation of where those molds end, knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but it's okay because we'll be able to camouflage or mask or whatever later. And so I'm just sort of tracing my outline of where I need to water cut, okay? Okay, so that's how I kind of get that impression. And I'm going to go ahead and spritz a little bit of water down here and get my little, let's see, what kind of brush do I need? I need a soft brush. Let's use this one. I find that it's easier when you're doing this. I find that it's easier to see your impression on the back because you don't have that the pattern obscuring anything. All right. So let's get it back over here. And let's get that on. I think it's going to be easier if we just sort of do it in sections. So I'm actually going to just rip that. There we go. I'll come down here a little bit. This one is a little bit too high. So some of them I don't want to. So trim it where you need to. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's get that on. Scooch this up a little bit. So trim what you need to as you're doing this so it doesn't start to cover up your molds. So that's our method for getting the decoupage on there. And just in a half, right? So I could have decoupage first and then come in later. I could have decoupaged the whole thing and then come in later and painted even over the decoupage. But I knew that, you know, if I did that, number one, I'd have to be super careful as I was painting my molds. I probably would not have chosen to paint brown there. And I would have had to be much more careful when painting those molds. And then I also just wanted to kind of just show you this technique that I'm doing here as well. So, all right, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to dry real fast before I move on. And if I wasn't on a live, I would be being a lot more precise and careful, you know, but that kind of stuff takes time, right? All right, so let's try this again. I'm going to get myself another section for this bottom area here. I don't need quite, I actually think I could probably use this one. And I'm just going to trim this bottom. Actually, you know what? I need to line it up. So why don't I do this? I'm going to line up. Let me just get another piece. Because I need to line up the blue because I started cutting from the blue before. So that's where I'm going to create my base again, is from the blue line. Just to make sure you're sort of lining up the pattern as you go around. Doesn't have to be exact. All right, so let's go ahead and cut it here because this is a blue stripe against a white stripe. So I'm just trying to line it up as best I can. And then I don't want to go so far over. So let's begin. Same concept here. I have much less surface area to cover on this side. All right. So I've got my impression. And we will water cut that. Okay, there we go. That looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and trim that there. we're probably going to have some antiquing gel or some sort of paint or something kind of right beneath these crevices. So I'm not worried about the gaps or anything because it will end up looking cohesive by the time we're done. Hopefully. All right, and last round here. Let's get one more. I guess we need a taller piece. Let's get one more section. Let's do this blue line here. So this is one A3 size sheet. I probably want to, I'm going to actually take this one off here because I want to end, I want this to go all the way around. So I'm just going to cut this. I'll end that one there. Okay. Very good. All right, and then I got this lined up. Let's do it in sections again. So let me line this one. Looks like I didn't go far enough over. Right. Okay. All right. Let's try this. Let's see if I can see that. This one is really odd shaped. But if I can get rid of most of the noise, I should be able to patch around it type of thing. All right, so something's going on here. Here we go. No. Right, there's that one. up in here. And we are almost done with this part. And then we're going to move on to crackle. Actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm just going to tear that there. All right, so let's see if we can get this little mountain here. We can figure out something there. I just need a white section. My pattern's probably not going to line up when it meets the edge, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. There's going to be a little bit of overlap there. And then I'm going to end it here. So. All right, last piece. Last little piece. Let's see what we got here. That looks pretty good. Okay, you guys, so that is how you go about decoupaging around an odd surface. Okay, and I would say I think that looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. All right, now we're going to get some crackle on. Yep, exactly. You got to try to match them up. And look, it's not, you know, but nobody's going to be, when you look at a piece like this, nobody's going to take a magnifying glass to it and go, oh no, you didn't line it up. Nobody's going to do that. What you're looking at is the overall impression, right? In fact, let me show you this. I have a little gap right here of where I didn't go high enough on the paper. So let's try to fix that. Let's see. No. Trying to find, okay, it's this. No. Trying to find how to line it up so that I can fix this little section right here. And it's really just this little square right here that I didn't get. So I'm just trying to tear out this little square here and see if I can piece it in there. This little square right there. There we go. I got one little square right there. Push that down in there. And you would never know that I patched it, right? All right. All right, you guys, let's get, now we're going to get our cracking plaster. So we have a new product. We've got the cracking plaster with a cracking plaster primer. We're going to play with this and see if we like it. let's get our primer on here first, and we're going to do this part up here. Okay. So this is the cracking plaster primer, and this is a two-part system, just like the cracking paste. What I have heard is that this primer is not universal. So this is a new unique formula. That's what I've heard. I need to verify that to make sure. But we want to put a little bit of cracking up here. And I'm just going to be careful. I'm not going to do it too thick around this top part because I don't want to sacrifice my lid from closing. And I painted this brown underneath because as those cracks start to form, you're going to be able to see that brown, that darker underneath. Okay. I'll try to get it in here as well. This is the primer. This is step one. Just like all our other priming systems, there's a step one and a step two. And then we're going to dry. My decoupage is not fully dry, but we're going to dry it. Our retailers have this coming in. So that will be arriving on their shelves very soon. So if you are one of our retailers and you know you have it coming in, the cracking plaster and the cracking plaster primer, feel free to share your links. Okay. So there we go. That's on. Let me close this up. Thank you, Robin. All right, let's dry. Step one needs to be nice and dry. Morning, Sheila. We're just going to keep turning it around. Oh, Donna, that's so cool. I hope you find them. So the step one will turn clear when it's ready. We are getting there. And in the meantime, my decoupage is drying. Okay. I think we are almost there, you guys. All right, that looks good to me. All right, now I'm going to take, you could take like a palette knife or some sort of spatula or something. And we're going to take our cracking plaster. This is like a paste, and we're going to go ahead and scoop this on. I'm only going to be able to show you part of it as I go, and then I'm going to have to hold it in a different direction. But I'm just taking this. It's a very creamy kind of formula, and I'm going to, and I'm not doing it very thick at the top, but I'm going to go ahead and trowel this on. And then I'll actually take like a little paintbrush and get down in the grooves. The thicker you put this on, the thicker your cracks are going to be. And of course, if you put it somewhere where there is no primer, it's fine. It's just going to leave texture and it just won't crack. So this is very similar, you guys, to our cracking. It works very similar. The texture is different, but it does work very similar to our cracking paste. The difference in the product is that the cracking paste is really meant for mixed media, right? Whereas this is actually meant for large scale walls or really large scale mixed media pieces. And it's also going to be more stable on a vertical surface. So something that's hanging like against a wall. Now, of course, I am using it in a mixed media application, but I'm doing that just for sake of demonstration because I am not a wall painter. I don't typically do large canvas artworks. I could definitely see somebody using this for large scale canvas artworks where they want this huge, like this big network of cracks. You know, but the point is that it's going to be probably more versatile than our cracking paste, which is really meant only for smaller mixed media. So just kind of like, you know, you guys know they have the furniture line with the decor glue tacky, even though there's other metal leaf glues out there that, you know, they have created products that are, you can still use on smaller pieces, but they're designed for larger scale, if that makes sense. So it's not that you only have to use them for larger scale, but, you know, they're going to be more versatile. And again, the thicker you put it on, the more spread out the cracks will be. And I'm being very sparing up here at the top because I still want my lid to be able to close. So I'll actually get in with a brush. This is cracking plaster. It's a new product, Peggy, from Pentart. And our retail, it's just shipped to our retailers. So you're going to be seeing this stuff all over the place here pretty soon. So this may be, if you don't watch Facilis, this may be the first time you've seen it. I guarantee you it will not be the last. It's got a little bit of a grit to it, so it looks like it may have some sort of kind of sand particles in it as well. Whereas the cracking paste seems a little bit smoother. This definitely has more of a plaster feel, so I guess that's why it's called cracking plaster. When our retailers were here in September, they actually had a chance to preview some of these products and demo them. And the good thing about that was they actually were able to share some nice feedback with Pentart about the names. So it's actually our retailers who suggested the name cracking plaster, because I think I can't remember what they had called it, but they were calling it wall cracking paste or something. And I thought, well, we were all saying, well, we already have a cracking paste, and this actually feels more like a plaster. So we were able to kind of give some good feedback to them on what these things should be called. And I'm trying to thin this out up here. All right, let's go down in here. I'm going to get really chunky where I can. Some places I won't be able to. Kind of like a stucco. It's starting to set up, so it looks like it's setting up pretty fast. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. Okay. That looks pretty good. Size jars. So that's another thing. So they come in 3 different sizes. So there's this size, because I told them, like, we do have mixed media people who are definitely going to want to use it for mixed media, but it also comes in like 250, like the next size up from this, and then it also comes in 500, like, so a big jar. Yeah. All right. So yeah, so it does come in bigger sizes, whereas our mixed media products don't. All right, so let's see if we can start getting some of these cracks to form. And I see them forming. That's awesome. Some beautiful cracked texture starting to form. Okay, you guys, I'm going to set this off to the side for a minute. I think we're just about ready to paint. But what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take some more of this, and I'm going to outline the side of this box with this paper to kind of bring back in that gingham pattern into the mix. So let me just mark a line here. Oh, that's where I want to fold and cut. Let's get our glue. All right, we're going to put this trim all the way around. Keep that as continuous as possible. Okay. All right. There we go. That looks good. Let's do another strip. And I feel like while I'm doing this, that is setting up pretty good over there. So let's cut our, I'm going to cut this off here. Sometimes the hardest part about projects is cutting in straight lines. Okay. And then here, if I recall correctly, we were about there. So it's just short of that line there. All right, let's see. White, yep, I'm good. All right, so I'm lining that up. That's good. Get my hair out of there, y'all. No, that's not hair. Okay. And then I'll just, what I'll do with this part down here is I'll trim it off with sandpaper. Look, I didn't quite make it all the way. I got a missing little section here. I thought for sure I was going to make it all the way. Just short. All right, I'll piece that up later. But for now, let me get this on here. And that gives us some continuity in the design from top to bottom. All right, so let's take a look at our plaster, you guys. It looks pretty good. Look at those cracks. I feel like I'm pretty dry here. I'm feeling a little bit of wetness somewhere. Where is it? Oh, no, I feel okay. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this color. I think I was playing around to see what, this is Country Blue, and I was kind of playing around to see if I wanted to use something different, but I think I'm just going to use the Country Blue as is, and then I may do like a little bit of dry brushing or something. So I'm going to take this Country Blue, and what I'm going to do, I'm not going to cover completely. I'm actually going to kind of just dab, you guys, because I still want that, I want that brown part or the brownish part underneath to still show through. And I actually want it to look a little bit vintage. So actually, now that I see that, I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled with that color. I think it's slightly off. Why don't we mix? Actually, let's look at this color. Let's look at this color. This is the Decor Paint Chalky in Navy. This one might be a little too dark. Why don't we mix something? Hello. You merged? You guys, she merged today. She went driving.
I think it was on East West.
Yeah? All right. Let's try to mix up a custom color here. Sometimes you just never know until you get it on what it's going to look like. So I'm mixing Country Blue with Navy, and then I think I'll add a little bit of white to it, and we'll see if we like that better. I don't want to go super dark up here. Let's add a little bit of white to that. Let's see if we like this. Just mix it, you know, like it's just paint. So try to find something that you like. This might be a little bit closer. The Country Blue was a little too gray, I thought. Let's put a little bit of this. This is the metallic blue. Let's put a little bit of this in there, and then we'll add some more white to that. Put some of this in here. We're just playing around with some colors here, you guys. Let's get some of that in there. Let's add a little more white. That's the white primer color. Let's see. That's cooling it off a little bit. So my blue was a little too warm. So this is making it a little bit closer to this blue. There we go. I think that works better. Okay, let's see if we like this better. Yeah, that's better. It's a little cooler. And then we will also probably dry brush as well. So I'm just painting over this crackle. You can still see some of that brown underneath. And then I'm getting any kind of painting parts that I didn't get with the crackle. And I'll get in there with a little brush. So I'm going to save my, detail painting of the flowers. I'm going to save those for last because that's going to help me kind of blend it all together and cover up any imperfections. So I can either, what I can do, and I'll let you guys decide, it's just painting flowers, so it's going to be very lengthy and time consuming. I can either do that, we can finish up next week and I can do that with y'all, or I can just do it off camera on my own. I think you guys have seen me paint molds enough to know how I do it, but if you really want to see it, I would be more than happy to do it. So I'll let y'all vote. This is the interactive part. You know, I always give you guys a choice. I will let y'all vote if I finish it on my own with the detailed molds painting, or if we do it together next week. You guys can decide. So go ahead and vote. Yeah, I've got places to go today, so I've got to wrap this up here in a minute. I don't have time to do it today. I do want to get this blue on here. Oops. And I'm going to do a little bit of drying, and then I'm going to do a little bit of dry brushing with white over the top of this blue to kind of kill it back a little bit. Sue says she would like for me to paint the molds next week, so finish the project next week. I can certainly do that. And we can just finish it and watch it all come together. It's okay, Sue. She feels passionate about me painting it next week. Finish next week. Okay. All right. 2 votes, I guess, is good. We will finish painting it next week. You can see it all come together. It might be a little tough right now in its current form to see the whole vision. So I kind of agree. I think it's important. And you know what, maybe what I'll do is I will get a head start, because it's going to take a lot of time to paint all of them. And that's literally all we would be doing next week if that's what I did. So I'll probably get a head start, and then maybe I'll plan for another project to fill in our time. Because I might want to do some other stuff too, like maybe put some shimmer glaze or something. You know, I think there's still a few different directions that this particular project can go. And we still have some decisions to make. So maybe we do. All right, so I'm going to just get in here pretty much all of the places where that brown paint lives. It's not a mold. And get in here with that blue. And it's okay if and maybe I'll even kind of come in under here with my blue as well and camouflage some of that. Okay. Just paint, you guys. So go right up until these edges. Oh, this piece just broke off. That's okay. We'll glue that back on later. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Let's dry and let's do a little bit of dry brushing. And dry brushing is also going to mask some things as well. And I'm trying to get all the blue that I want done because this custom color that I mixed, I am not going to be able to get it again exactly. So I'm trying to avoid having to mix it again before it dries, because it will dry here pretty soon. And I am never going to be able to mix that exact same color. So I'm just trying to get as much covered as I can while I have it mixed. You're stressing. Don't stress. Just paint. Trust the process. I know it looks like a hot mess. We're in that hot mess stage, y'all. Right? But don't worry. Don't worry. You guys definitely want to see how this all comes together, don't you? Okay. All right. All right. So let's stop there for now. Next week we can come in and do our dry brushing. We'll kind of unify all this blue and make it look pretty again. And then we will, I'll probably spend a little bit of time painting some of these molds, at least to get a head start for next week. And then we'll go from there. All right, you guys. So that's all I have for you today. And as much as I hate leaving a project undone, Thank you, Dana. I'm out of time. We could keep going, but I am completely out of time. So y'all have a great week, and I will see you back here next week. And trust the process. Okay. Have a great week, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye.